to you. Venom, Bud, Archie too. They will all be here for you on COMX-TV. COMX-TV. Fantasy and enemy, what's it gonna be now? Alternative and mainstream too, here every week for you on COMX-TV. COMX-TV.
Hi and welcome to COMX-TV. We're your weekly guide to the world of comic books. This is Steve Przybyla.
And this is Mike Rizzo. And each and every week we bring you the hottest and newest up-to-date comics out there in the market.
Games, toys, everything to do with the comic book world, we bring it to you. We bring it to you first. So let's kick off today's show with the mainstream reviews by Steve.
Now, here's our mainstream review.
For my first mainstream review book this week, Batman Forever, the movie adaptation from Warner Brothers and DC, $3.95. The writer is Dennis O'Neil, the artist is Michael Dudkowitz, and the inker is Scott Hanna. The adaptation of the summer blockbuster movie, which is sweeping like wildfire across the nation. With Batman's new partner Robin, better known as Dick Grayson, can they defeat the villains Harvey Dent, better known as Two-Face, and Edward Nygma, the Riddler? Read the book or see the movie. A definite win with me. The art in this one was good but not fabulous, but the storyline was excellent. It kept me reading every paragraph. You know how sometimes you start looking through a comic book, you start skipping over what they say? This one you're going to read every paragraph. On a scale from 1 to 10, I give it a 9.2. Pick it up. For my second exciting mainstream review this week, Violator vs. Bad Rock, #1, from Image, $2.50. The writer is Alan Moore, the artist is Brian Denham, and the inker is Jonathan Sibue. What is it, true? The Violator back on Earth from the Neverworld? You'd think he would have had enough fighting against Spawn. But now, Bad Rock? Must be crazy. Your favorite heart-eating, drooling, big-tooth monster is back for the fight of his life. Not only with Bad Rock, though, but with a new female nemesis. Read it and find out. The art in this one was fabulous. The storyline was a typical Violator story. Brutal and very bloody. Worth the money, though, for $2.50. On a scale from 1 to 10, I gave it a 6.5. Pick it up and check it out. For my third and final book in the mainstream review this week, this is the one everybody has been waiting for. Superman vs. Aliens. I reviewed part 1 and 2 this week from Dark Horse Comics and DC. $4.95, which is a little bit pricey, but it's definitely worth it. The story is by Dan Jurgens, artist is Kevin Nolan, and the inker is Greg Wright. Well, LexaCorp sends Superman to a planet that's sending out an SOS. Superman gets there, gets on the planet, everybody's gone. He don't know why. It looks like there's a war there. He don't know why. Of course, if anybody's seen the Aliens movies, you'd know why. But he finds 5 people unconscious. He don't know why they're unconscious, but okay, so he puts them in his little shuttle, sends them off back to Earth. Well, comes and he meets this little girl that's still there, a 16-year-old girl named Kayla. And surprise, here comes Mama Alien laying out the eggs. Well, you thought Superman couldn't get beat up? Think again. He gets ripped open, gets bit, he bleeds. Only thing they can't do is penetrate his bones. This book was fabulous. Everybody's been waiting for it. You've had the Superman Doomsday, now you got the Superman Aliens. Just like you've had the Predator Aliens, well, this is the one to pick up. The art in this one was excellent. It was very, very well drawn. The storyline was excellent. They don't leave nothing out. They tell you exactly where everything came from. and how it got there. On a scale from 1 to 10, I gave this one an 8.3, and if you can find parts 1 and 2, pick them up. And that's it for my mainstream review this week.
That's my dad. And that's Mom. Dad's got an idea. A way to get rid of all the grody garbage that's polluting the world. He's invented a big rocket ship to shoot all the garbage into outer space. Mom's not sure, but Dad says his invention will save the world.
There's an easier way to save the world. Recycle. For your free recycling action guide, write Recycle. Environmental Defense Fund, 257 Park Avenue South, New York, New York.
After dating the guy forever, you think I could tell him anything.
Why is this so hard? I'm really scared.
It takes a lot of guts to tell someone he's too drunk to drive. But you can do it. Just say it. Because if you don't, there may be nothing left to say.
Kevin, I'm gonna drive.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand. Friends don't let friends
Hard to achieve.
This week on the comics news, looks like almost every company is getting into the adventure card game business after the successful Magic the Gathering game. Fleer has announced the launching of Marvel Overpower, the collectible card game. Marvel Overpower simulates combat among the heroes and villains of the Marvel Universe. The game takes place between two players. Each tries to knock out the other's heroes and win the game. The starter pack will consist of 62 cards and will retail for $5.95. The starter decks include X-Men, Marvel Universe, and Supervillain. There are a total of 206 different cards in the starter decks, with an additional 182 cards available in the 9-card booster packs, which will retail for $1.49. Overpower will be released in August and could be a huge success for Marvel and Fleer.
Comic Images, the largest seller of comic-related merchandise in the world, announces a hot new card set. William Tukey's She will ship into stores in August. This all-chromium collector card series will feature 90 original and newly recolored panels from the comic, 9 new pieces, and other interpretations of She from other artists. There will be 6 Megachrome chase cards, 500 autograph cards, and rare 3-card Magnachrome subset, and more. Each 7-card pack will retail for about $2. This is the first spin-off of the She character, and based on its recorded sales, collectability should be a market hit.
July is Magic Month at Acclaim Comics. 2 new miniseries, Magic the Gathering Wayfarer and Antiquities War on the World of Magic the Gathering, and a single-issue story, Magic the Gathering Special Nightmare, will debut under Acclaim's Armada imprint. The Wayfarer series continues the story of Jared Carthalion, which began in the Shadow Mage. The Nightmare Special is about extremely powerful supernatural horses that feed off the energy of swamps. And in Antiquities, read of the most devastating war in the history of Dominaria. Look for these new books beginning in July from Acclaim Comics.
Lastly, this week, Dark Horse Comics announced it has acquired the rights to produce comics based on G.I. Joe. Dark Horse president Mike Rizzo is looking forward to relaunching G.I. Joe, which was originally published by Marvel back in the 1980s. Hasbro chose Dark Horse after discussions with major comic publishers. They will also provide marketing and advertising support for the relaunch of G.I. Joe this fall. And that's it for comics news this week. Don't go away because Mike now brings you the independent reviews.
Alright, it's the independent reviews. My first book today is Fast Lane Illustrated. It's #1 by Francisco Ramirez. This is not your average comic book, and not your average comic book reader will like it. This is a tough book for tough people. Guys who like fast cars and fast women. This is a book with great art and a cool story to boot. Are you sick of superheroes, all that other bogus stuff in today's comics? Well, combine Stephen King's Christine with Cartoons Magazine and you've got Fast Lane Illustrated. It's definitely a good read. It's something different. It would appeal to motorheads, and some rod magazines have already profiled it. I doubt it will ever become a long-term hit, but it is good. I give it a B+. At $2.50, it's 11 cents per page on the price index. Add a couple pages of rod pics, and you've got a regular hot rod comic. I like this one. Next, I have Saint, #2 by Chris and James Eisert. It's published by their Kick-Ass Comics based in Erie, Pennsylvania. Saint was killed and he returns to life as a demon. The only problem is he's a God-fearing demon who preys on human-killing demons. It's a nice little twist on the old demon-type story. Chris does a commendable job on the art. The art is dark and violent. Some faces are a bit distorted, not that great, but overall it's good. James writes and he does a nice job. It was enjoyable enough that I finished it in one sitting. I think they need an editor though to clean up some grammar and spelling errors, but overall it's good. You can almost look past those minor problems. With a few minor improvements, this could be a good horror title to watch over the next 6 months. It's 10 cents per page on the price index and retails for $2.50. There are 24 pages of action, so check that one out. Alright boys and girls, next I have Caged Heat 3000 #1, a new book from Roger Corman's Cosmic Comics. This is your typical woman's prison story set in the future. Okay, it's somewhat violent, it's on the adult side, it's got shower scenes, slight nudity, vulgarity, and there's plenty of action. Jerry Prosser does the writing and Matt Thompson the pencils in this new title. The main story is 22 pages with a shorter backup story. If you like women in B movies, you'll like this. I found it somewhat amusing and the cover is attractive enough that it will catch most guys' eyes. I'd say it's worth about a C+ or a 7 depending on how you want to rate it. It's nothing great, but it's not a bad book. Now my last book on the independent review is Flaxen, Alter Ego #1 from Caliber Comics. Flaxen is Susie Owens, former Playboy playmate, nurse, writer, model, and celebrity. Veteran writer James Hudnall takes over the chores on this book, with Brian Bendis penciling Susie. You could say this is a typical bimbo comic book. Caliber says different, and they do try to take it past that stage. Take Susie's real life, throw in a little superhero action, mix it up, you got Flaxen. The art is good, the story not bad. On its own, it would have been an okay story, but it's difficult when you know that it's based on a real person. The story deals with Susie fighting off her alter ego, her former self from years ago. There are 24 pages of story and another 9 pages of photos in Susie's life history. I would have to say the best part of the book actually is the real photos of Susie and the possibility of meeting her on our next convention stop. But I give the book a C. I give Susie an A. Overall, I'll give it about a B. And that's it for the independent reviews this week. Stay tuned because we'll be right back after these very, very, very important messages.
Want to know how to turn your kid off to school?
Want to really make us not care about learning anything?
Tell me you got to school with no help from your parents and I'll have to do the same.
When the teacher invites you up for a talk, don't show. Keep on saying girls are no good at math. That'll turn me off.
Face it, when parents don't care, kids don't care. Then they don't learn.
Show me a parent who really cares, and I'll show you a kid who can learn.
When friends don't stop friends from drinking and driving. Friends die from drinking and driving. Friends die from drinking and... Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
That's my dad. And that's Mom. Dad's got an idea. A way to get rid of all the grody garbage that's polluting the world. He's invented a big rocket ship to shoot all the garbage into outer space. Mom's not sure, but Dad says his invention will save the world.
There's an easier way to save the world. Recycle. For your free recycling action guide, write Recycle. Environmental Defense Fund, 257 Park Avenue South, New York, New York.
Mrs. Washburn, I'm Gerald Fry's mother.
Oh, don't you work nights?
I traded shifts. Mrs. Washburn, About Gerald. I wish I could help him learn better, but I'm no genius. Well, you don't have to do the homework, but ask to see it. Let him show off what he learned. Praise him more. Show you care. You think we got a chance here? A good chance. Show me a parent who really cares, and I'll show you a kid who can learn.
All right, it's interview time. As we try and do every week, we try and bring you an interview with a creator, whether it's a writer, artist, inker, penciler, or somebody involved in the industry, publisher, anybody that we can really talk to that might be interesting to you. Today, we're going to visit with formerly Valiant Comics, and they are now
Acclaim Comics.
We're going to New York City to talk with a few of them, and let's
head there now.
We'll do that.
I'm Bob Hall. I write and draw Shadow Man for Valiant Comics, and I also write an occasional Time Walker.
I'm Don Perlin, editor of Shadow Man, penciler of Time Walker, and creative director of Valiant Comics. Tell them, Bob.
Shadow Man is Jack Boniface, who is a New Orleans jazz musician, plays the saxophone, and at night, thanks to a voodoo curse or blessing, one or the other, which has been put on him, he becomes a creature of the night, a shadow creature who combats crime and or evil, and pursues it with great vehemence and recklessness, and loses all the inhibitions of his daytime self to go after the baddies.
And Shadow Man enjoys it.
Mm-hmm. And what are Shadow Man's powers?
One is just the recklessness. He becomes a slightly different person. It's like having the world's biggest adrenaline rush at night. He becomes strong in the sense of he's not super powered. He's not like being able to lift a building, but he could go out and lift the end of your car, because that same adrenaline rush that lets somebody, the kid's trapped into the car and you hear about a guy goes out and lifts the car, well, he can do that any given night. Also, on his chest is the shadow mark, which is the ancient symbol of the voodoo shadow men, and it's now become emblazoned actually onto his skin. And within that, there's a mysterious world, the world of unreality, necromantic unreality, and every once in a while something comes out of that can do anything. And Jack doesn't quite know when it will come, what it will be, and over the next year's worth of issues, he will develop that power and being able to control it and what it is more and more and more.
Does Shadow Man really need the mask?
He did originally, but he doesn't anymore. The mask was essentially taught him how to be a Shadow Man. The voodoo was contained in the mask. Now it's within him.
Who is Master Dark?
Master Dark is the meanest villain in the world. He's the purest evil villain that I've ever worked on, because he is pure evil. His motivation is to bring evil to the world, to balance the good in the world, which he finds fairly disgusting. And he wears his evil upon his body as tattoos, and the tattoo they're not really tattoos, they're symbols, and they change like Ray Bradbury's Illustrated Man. They change constantly depending on what bad thing he's up to.
What's Maxwell St. James doing these days?
Right now, a few issues back, Max St. James, the 19th century Shadow Man, sucked Master Dark into his shadow mark. And currently our world is free from Dark, but he's there festering within the soul of Max St. James, who is living out somewhere in the bayous, fishing a lot, trying to get away from humanity and away from any place that Dark could be a danger to.
And what's going to happen to Shadow Man this summer?
Well, for one thing, we will find out that Max will not succeed, I think, in keeping Dark from endangering the world. and dark will begin to encroach upon Jack's mentality too, for various reasons. He will also get a hit record and begin to have quite a recording career, and just play the most kick-ass saxophone you ever heard.
Only at night.
Only at night. Well, he plays during the day, but the one real annoyance to Jack Boniface is that Shadow Man's music, when Shadow Man is playing, it begins to catch on. I mean, Jack's been a musician for 20 years, but it's the Shadow Man that begins to catch on.
Today I have the Copybook Tales #2 by Jay Torres and Tim Levins from True Patriot Studios out of Ontario. This is a darn good book. I'm really surprised. I read it just the other day. I read the first 2 issues, and it's good. It's kind of like these high school kids trying to write a comic book, and they throw in some high school kind of things, you know, parents are gone for the night, so they have a party and get drunk and stuff. It's a cool book, 75 cents, only a few pages, but I liked it. Nice artwork, etc. Take a look. That's it for the 30-second mini comic review this week. Okay, boys and girls, we've been off for a couple months, so we've been stacking up the comics that we've been reviewing, and we got to get rid of some of them. So I'm going to go through a whole bunch of them really quick. First off, I've got Death Race 2020, #1 from Cosmic Comics, Wild Story. Wilder art, interesting and definitely worth a look. Next, I've got Essay King's Naked Eye, #2 from Antarctic Press. It's not bad. I already read it in his mini comic. Again, it's worth a look. Next, Krusty Comics #3. It was okay, but I was totally disappointed with the series overall. In my opinion, Krusty Land fell. Stick him in the back of a Simpsons book and leave him there. Nurture the Devil, #3 from Jeff Johnson. A really weird adult-only book, and I keep coming back for more, but why? I don't understand it. AKA Goldfish Jack by Brian Michael Bendis. I love Goldfish. Great story, love his art style. Keep it up. This is Lisa Comics, #1 from Bongo. I actually didn't read this. I skimmed through the Alice in Wonderland type story. I don't like Alice in Wonderland. I don't like that. Wild Kingdom #3 from MU Press. Nice adult-only anthropomorphic tales. If you like animals, you'll like this. Post Brothers #42, The Digital War Party, comes to a head, and of course the brothers win. I like these guys. They're good. This is Barney Gumble and Simpsons Comics #9, coming monthly soon. This was a good story. I like this book. Pick it up. Kill Your Boyfriend #1 from DC Vertigo. Grant Morrison writes a cool story. It's about 50 pages long. It's cool. Manga Vision #1 from Viz. An anthology of manga. I like the stories. You get a lot for $4.95. Check it out. Vertigo Vision's Perez. This is due to ship July 11th. This is a good story about a guy trying to track down his long-lost father, who's a former U.S. president. And last but not least, Dominique, Protect and Serve from Caliber Comics. Good stories. These are Ken Meyer Jr. does some nice cover art on all these, and this is a book I like also. This is like Caliber, AKA Goldfish. They got a couple good books. I like this. That's it for these quick reviews this week.
And that's it for our show this week. Thank you for watching. And just one little special note before we go. This show is going to be airing right around the same time as our 2-year anniversary. We went on the show on the air first, July 10th, 1993. And if you've been watching us since then, thanks a lot. Keep watching. Things are going to get a lot better.
This is approximately, if I counted right, our 76th original show. So we've done quite a few of them. We've taken some breaks in between there. We just took a couple months off. Last week you had our award ceremony. So we're glad that you've been tuning in. We hope you like it, and we hope to bring you a ton more stuff in our next year.
I'm Steve Przybyla.
I'm Mike Rizzo.
Thanks for watching, and tell everybody when you're in the comic shop, when you're buying that book, you've seen us on
COMX-TV. Thanks, see ya. Happy anniversary, Steve.
Happy anniversary, Mike.
Comics. COMX-TV. Comics. COMX-TV.